I still remember the electric buzz of those hospital lights overhead, too bright, too sterile, almost artificial. My daughter had just come into the world. At least, that's what I believed at the time. I was walking toward her room, a teddy bear in hand, something I'd picked up during my lunch break. I was grinning like an idiot. Then I heard it. Laughter. Voices I knew too well. Too intimately. "He doesn't suspect a thing. At least he's good for money," said Jake, my closest friend since middle school. The same guy who was supposed to be my daughter's godfather. Then came her voice, my wife's voice. "You two deserve happiness. He's just dead weight." And she laughed. My wife. She laughed. "Thanks," she said. "I'll make sure we stay happy." I didn't move. Not yet. I just stood there in that hallway that smelled of disinfectant and artificial cheer, the teddy bear clenched so tightly in my fist that the seams dug into my skin. I didn't cry. Didn't yell. I just turned around, slowly, quietly. They never saw me. That was their first mistake. Jake and I had shared everything. Dorm rooms, ramen noodles, late nights coding for a startup we built from scratch, failed pitches, wild hopes. He was there when I lost my dad. I gave him a place to stay when he was down and out. He stood beside me at my wedding and toasted my wife as the woman who completed me. Turns out she found someone who completed her bank account instead. 3 years. That's how long they'd been sneaking around behind my back. I found that out later, but I didn't need a timeline to feel the betrayal like a knife in my gut. Her laughter told me everything I needed to know. There was no remorse in her voice, only joy, celebration. That night, I went home and stared at our wedding photo. Her smile used to light up my world. Now it felt like a sneer, a joke I hadn't been in on. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Emotions are chaotic. Revenge isn't. First, I needed evidence. Then I would let the truth set fire to their lies. So I played my role, the joyful new dad. I kissed her forehead, held the baby in my arms, even let Jake drop by and slap me on the back like the two-faced coward he was. But behind that mask, I was digging. Her phone was my starting point. She hadn't even changed the passcode, still the year we got married. Ironically fitting. Inside were screenshots, messages, secret wire transfers, intimate photos, vacation plans for after the divorce. Revolting, but valuable. I forwarded everything to a hidden email account I'd created just for this. Then I hired a private investigator. Nothing shady, just thorough. It didn't take long. Jake had been siphoning money from our shared business. My wife helped him clean it through fake accounts. And the baby. Not mine. The DNA test came back the same day. I transferred all our assets into a shell company under my brother's name. I secured our funds, froze what was left, and revoked her access to every shared account. I had divorce papers drawn up by a lawyer I trusted. Paid in cash. I changed the locks, installed cameras, and planned the moment everything would come to light. 1 week later, I invited them both to dinner. Jake arrived first, confident, smug. My wife followed minutes later. I welcomed them in with glasses of wine already poured. "I know," I said, my voice calm and steady. They both froze where they stood. "I know everything, the affair, the stolen money, the truth about the child." Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. She opened her mouth as if to speak, but nothing came out. Jake tried to talk, but I held up a hand to stop him. "That wasn't an invitation to start lying," I said flatly. Then I placed a folder on the table between us. Inside, undeniable proof, photos, financial records, message logs, and right on top, the paternity results. Her expression collapsed. Jake lost all color in his face. "Funny thing," I said as I poured myself a drink, "you all thought I was the failure. But somehow, you never noticed who was keeping the lights on. She lunged for the folder. I slid it just out of her reach. I've already moved the company, liquidated the assets. You're both flat broke. That's when her mother arrived. I had invited her, too. She opened her mouth, but I pressed play on a small recorder on the table. He's just a useless failure. Her voice rang out, crystal clear. She went pale as snow. I looked each of them in the eyes, one by one. I'm filing for divorce. With cause. You'll walk away with nothing. Jake jumped to his feet. You can't. It's already done, I said as I dropped a set of keys on the table. New locks. Cameras installed. If you step foot on my property again, I'll have you arrested. Then I handed him an envelope. You should expect a call from the IRS. I scrubbed the records clean. You're the only name still on the dirty books. He stuttered, trying to form a sentence. She wept silently. Her mother looked like she might faint. I walked past them without a flicker of hesitation. At the door, I turned back one final time. You thought I'd fall apart, but you forgot who I am. 6 months have passed since then. Jake is now under federal investigation. My ex-wife is back living with her mother. I hear the two of them argue constantly. She tried to drag out the divorce proceedings, even threw around claims of emotional abuse, until the judge reviewed the evidence. She walked away with nothing. Not even custody. The child wasn't mine, and the court saw the truth. Turns out, when you betray someone who gave you everything, there's a price to pay. And I made sure it was collected in full. Sometimes I still think about that hallway in the hospital. That moment. That laugh. The split second where I could have walked in and demanded the truth. But staying silent was better. It let them believe they'd won, until the ground gave way beneath them. They say revenge is toxic. I don't agree. To me, it's clarity. It's that rare moment when the lies fall away and all that's left is the truth. And my truth was simple. They built their fantasy on my foundation. So I made sure when it crumbled, the fall was devastating. And when they finally hit bottom, I didn't even bother looking back.